Waster, so glad you could make it. Isn't it wonderful? Waster, blasting Waster. It's survival of the fittest kicked into ultramatic hyperdrive. The wheat cutting through the chaff in an endless volley of gunfire. Mankind screaming towards something greater, with countless permutations of the Uberbench facing off in a thunderdome of superhuman progress. Booze is the new world order, and once the SOB scum has been smeared off the face of the earth with the help of the Mulligan, mankind will be free to unleash its true potential. So, where is it, Waster? Where is Alistair's cooler? Crazy? Well, that's nonsense. The booze has given me a clarity of mind I never thought possible. Now, the cooler. Where is it? Ah, yes! How could I have missed such an obvious detail? Alistair did so much enjoy visiting his retreat up in Berkeley. I should have known he would have built his cooler there. Yes, I knew him. Some might say we were friends. Others would call us rivals. How furious he must have been to have learned his cool air evacuation colonies would be saving the life of the man who single-handedly ruined him. After all, the Cool Air Project was devised to preserve the greatest minds of our time. And who could deny Sid Johns a place on the pantheon of engineering gods? Yes, the inventor of the Concorde PC and the father of modern computing. Innovatrix Business Solutions was set to change the world, to save it from the technological sinkhole that Alistair and his so-called research labs had played such a big part in creating. To think, Alistair's final contribution to the world of computing was a monochrome text terminal. Pathetic. It's no wonder the Cool Air colonies failed as hard as they did. Yes, why indeed would an archaic system running on prehistoric tech, devised by a half-wit fossil, fail to perform its duty? Truly, it was Alistair tech at its best. Every single cooler a different defect. To malfunction in such a myriad number of ways, truly a testament to Alistair's technical prowess. Electronic failures, faulty seals, coolant leaks. I bet not even Alistair himself was spared from his own ineptitude. In the case of Cooler CA5, the very one in which we stand, the cooler mates and I had the pleasure of dealing with a faulty cryogenics system. You see, the moment we detected the enemy's nuclear strikes, the members of the Cool Air program sealed themselves in their respective coolers, expecting a relaxing ice nap until all that nasty radioactive fallout had died down. Not us. When CA5's cryogenic systems failed, what was supposed to be a quiet, decade-long slumber had become years of agonizing isolation and deprivation. Oh, we weren't stupid. We tried rationing. We tried cutting as many corners as our bodies could withstand. But the supplies in the coolers weren't meant to last for months, let alone years. As clean water began running out, we were forced to drink the radioactive sludge that was slowly accumulating in the cooler's sewage pipes. Then, of course, went the food. The weakest of us wasted away from hunger, while the rest of us resorted to other meals. But it was the sludge that did it, the booze that changed me, granted me the mutational advantages I needed to overpower the remaining cooler mates. Survival of the fittest. When the day finally came that the cooler doors reopened for the first time in years, I stood there, all alone, the last man standing, belly filled with the bones of my enemies. The apex predator of the food chain I had viciously consumed my way to the top of. Because he had something to prove, Waster. The Mulligan was Alistair's one shot at redemption, his one shot at showing the American public that he was not just a relic of the Cold War. Strip a man of his accolades, his money, his pride, and force him to claw his way out of the depths of his own depravity. And it's astounding what he can accomplish. Trust me, Waster, I'd know. No, Waster, this is the New World Order. This is how we lose the trappings of our human weakness. This is how we become the Ubermensch. This is why we must defeat the SOB. This is the reason the new skeleton army must succeed. We must leave behind those too stubborn to adapt to the new normal. We must usher in a new era of humanity. The Mulligan will let us start anew.
Step away from the escape pod, Waster. And perhaps you will see to reason.
Quickly, Waster. Take this secure disk. It's been hacked to grant administrative privileges to all cooler systems. Activate the Serpent Protocol. It's the only way we'll escape here alive.
You've made the right decision, Waster.
No, Waster. What are you doing?
Been waiting a long time to do that. Don't worry, Waster. I'm not gonna kill you. The SOB needs your help. You're humanity's last hope. We SOB have sought to restore God's will amongst the wastelands. The way these wasters taint God's immaculate designs for man with their sick, forced evolution. Our mission here, the reason the SOB have sojourned from the irradiated south to these far western wastes, was to deploy this, the hangover cure. The hangover cure is a chemical agent developed by our scientists at the SOB Citadel. It's traveled a long way from home, and many of our best soldiers have died to get it here. With this cure, we could completely reverse the effects of booze and return man to the way God intended. To undo all the horrific mutations that have changed us from what we used to be. It's taken years to create enough of the hangover cure to fill up this payload. And if this batch isn't deployed now, the SOB will be set back decades. We must seize the day. We must deploy the hangover cure before the new skeleton army has a chance to stop us. The Serpent Protocol escape pods. The hangover cure has to be detonated above the atmosphere so that it can be dispersed by the winds all throughout the wastelands of old America. Anything that could have been used to launch this payload up to that altitude was destroyed during the nuclear strikes. The cooler escape pods were our only choice. Because you've seen firsthand what booze can do to a man. You've seen the utter chaos going on the upper floors from those crazed wasters locked in pointless conflict. You saw how crazed the head Skelly had become with that radioactive gunk clouding his mind and tearing away at his humanity. You've got the Administrator's secure disk. You've got the only means of activating the Serpent Protocol and launching the cure into the atmosphere. This is our last chance, Waster. This is our only remaining batch of the hangover cure. Our only chance to right the wrongs of our forefathers. I got shot up pretty bad trying to get down here. I don't think I'm gonna last much longer. Do the right thing, Waster. Cleanse the wastelands from this sin and vice. Let's make America great again.
Greetings, Administrator. I am the Cool Air Speakeasy personal assistant. Dangerous levels of surface-level nuclear radiation have been detected, beginning the cryogenics process. Please step into the Cool Air Cryogenic pod for best results. Serious bodily injury and/or death may occur if proper procedures are not followed. Please remain calm.
So the story goes that the waster came, they saw, they had too much to drink, and then disappeared forever, which is totally normal as far as wasters go. Totally forgettable. Seriously, who cares? But their house became something of a wasteland legend, a kernel in the turd, a total jewel of the West. Like, even long after the waster went missing, people kept stumbling upon this safe haven, this fortified mega hut filled with a bunch of totally tubular trash from the old world. One such piece of technology was a weird science thing that waster had kept displayed proudly in their living room. As the years went by, the wasters began experimenting with it, starting with pills that could help you poop, to pills that could help you stop pooping if the other pills were too effective, and then eventually curing cancer and rad diarrhea and the other serious illnesses that had afflicted the waste. Of course, it was later found and destroyed by the SOB in a desperate attempt to eradicate all science. Tucked away in a ramshackle garage behind the house, the waster had set up a workshop filled with piles of trash and roboguts. Though the compandroids that the waster had been so fond of were programmed to kill, it was not long until the wasters were able to modify the robots, teaching them to not kill and then to help. From these tinkerings came a new era of technological revolution, and a strange feeling came over the wasters that maybe the strongest muscle in their body was much, much higher than they had originally thought. Wait, the brain is a muscle, right? The house had gone from a small hut to a small community of wasters to a bustling hub of culture and civilization. All the while, the wasters stuck tiny, annoying pictures on the walls to chronicle its evolution. Historians would later look back on these photos and think, how annoying. It was no surprise that the house would become the birthplace of a new nation. After all, the word important was stamped all over it. As for the bees... After a successful recruitment drive at the Oni, the bees were able to pass their knowledge of the waste to a new generation. As their numbers grew higher, they began reaching further and further out into the wastelands, finally making contact with the house. The wasters of the house welcomed them with open arms, and in return, the bees shared with them their vast knowledge of the Western wastes. Master Y continued to rule over Junktown with an iron fist. When word of the house had come to the Oni, Sang-sun immediately reported her findings to Master Y, who sent a small envoy to make a deal with them. In time, the junk dogs began supplying the house with old world tech, while the house provided the junk dogs with protection and a place in this new world. As the hangover cure dispersed around the wastelands, the wasters slowly began regaining their thoughts and memories. Though the SOB had always been a bit pushy when it came to their beliefs, their beef had always been with the boozers, not with the wasters themselves. And slowly after returning humanity back to its former self, left the Western wastes in peace for their new campaign in the East. Oh yeah, somebody named Pinky said Mexico's not doing so great. Whatever. Anyways, in some stupid way, perhaps it was this waster's decision that had led the Western waste down this wobbly, drunken path. Hard to believe that from the depths of a grody wooden shack sprang forth the foundations of a new world. One almost exactly like the one before the old New World, with things like laws, order, politics, the nuclear arms race, the Cold War, the salt talks. You know, exactly the same as the moment right before the bombs fell the first time. Well, I mean, besides the obsession with cardboard discs and unusually loose pants. But like, oh well, who cares? I'm not worried. After all, my name's Vulture Val, and I own the biggest mall in New Oni. Come visit when you have a chance. You won't what is that?
Cryosleep has now concluded. Welcome to the year 1990. Have a nice day.
Told me something funny before he died. Today's weather report. Freaking hot. I reckon tomorrow'll be the same. That's all for today. I've been